Right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is a CHI workshop. We are the Creative Healing Arts Initiative. We have another CHI artist here, John. Today, our workshop artist is Irie, and she's going to be teaching you how to do portal painting. You can go ahead and take it away, Irie, whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone. My name is Irie Wonder. I'm a little artist and I also make music and I do a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, so today I kind of wanted to guide you guys through your own journey towards learning how to transmute your energy. I feel like right now all of us are going through a vast amount of really intense emotions, and one of the ways that I have always found stability and groundedness is through painting and through art. So I kind of wanted to share my process today and also help you guys to create your own portal of anything you want, to be honest. I want to show you guys an example of one that I've already done. It's kind of big, so you can't really see all of it through this little phone camera, but this is the middle of it. And then, oh, let me not do that. This is the full thing.
It's all good. We your camera. It's very pretty.
Oh. Thank you. So yeah, when I'm making these pieces of art, I go through like really intense shifts and phases as I'm making them. And I have a finished product, which is just something that I can look at and reflect and be like, oh, I went through all of this and this is what came out of it. And taking that same concept, you can apply it to anything in life. Knowing that, like, even though you might be going something that's a little bit uncomfortable, you can transmute that energy and use it to reach your personal goals. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do that today. First, I would like everyone to, if you're comfortable, go around and state what you would like to be called for the time being. It doesn't even have to be your name. Like, you could just have a special nickname or something that you would like to be referred to as for this workshop specifically. So we're now entering a space of healing and safety and security. So yeah, you could type it in the chat box too if you don't want to turn on your microphone.
And I'll read chats out loud if they come through. And I'll start. Right now, being called Poppy is good for me.
Poppy.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
For some reason, and Poppy would remember this, my Zoom is only using the back camera, so that's why my avatar is the Darth Vader mask. Anyways, my name is John. You guys can call me John. I'm an artist here in Stockton. And actually, I have to leave the workshop a little bit early to actually go to the Catalyst. So I'll be seeing you at the end of the hour. And my wife is going to join in on the workshop with us.
Awesome. That's great. Nice to meet you.
Well, you're going to get to meet me in person, actually.
Dope. Cool beans. Okay, so as we're still doing that, I had a few questions. The first question is, if you could compare your current energy, your current state with any single physical object, what would that look like and why, or what's the process behind it? Like, for example, right now, I feel vibrant and super like charged. Like, I feel like I'm ready to take on anything. So I think I would be a trampoline right now, in a way. If someone were to jump on me, I'd go and just like send them back out into space. How about you guys?
I don't know what to say. Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, I'll go. I think right now, if I was going to be an object, I would probably be a see-through stone because I feel very grounded, but also very light at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Like a quartz.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what object I would be.
Okay, cool. A question mark.
Yeah, it'd be a big question mark.
Okay, and the next question is, what is your most noticeable fear, and in which ways do you run from this? Like, we're really getting deep here. I'm trying to see what y'all are afraid of, and we're gonna conquer that today. That's a lot of vulnerability. So if you don't feel comfortable answering that question, I completely understand. It's no pressure. It's all up to you. But personally, for me, I think one of the things that I'm most afraid of is not living for me. I think I'm a Pisces, so I tend to really just go with the flow, and I feel like oftentimes I can get swept up in other people's reality, and part of that scares me because it's like, well, I'm not living out of my essence and of my for my mission or purpose, and that would really like be a waste of my lifetime. You feel me? Yeah. And then the second question that I had with that is, does this alter the way you live your daily life? And for me personally, yes, it does, because I have to be really aware of like setting boundaries when it comes to dealing with other people and making sure that I'm like grounded in moments where I might otherwise feel a little bit scattered. And that definitely seeps into everything that I do on a daily basis. Who's next?
I will go. I think one of my biggest fears is to be alone, I guess, like with no friends or family. But thankfully, that's far from true. And hopefully, it'll never come true. So I'm always thankful for the people I have who are very close to me.
Does that alter the way that you live your daily life? Well, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I make a lot of effort to show the people that are close to me that I love them. Because I'm like, oh no, don't leave. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
So I have an irrational fear of large objects in bodies of water. And no, that doesn't affect the way I live my life.
Not like Lovecraft.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Move on. So I wanted to give a brief overview of the term energy transmutation. I feel like it floats around a lot and it doesn't actually make sense unless you really like take it apart and dive into it. So I found this really interesting quote when I was doing research for this workshop. And I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, transmutation is spiritual alchemy. It's about wielding universal laws and forces. When you know how to move among higher and lower energy frequencies in order to transmute one into the other, miracles happen. Though this isn't quite an accurate description, for simplicity's sake, what you're essentially doing in this step is converting energy into matter in the case of manifesting something, or matter back into energy in the case of removing something, such as making a tumor disappear. It is not only the human you doing this, of course, but the total you. This includes your higher self and the all that is part of life. So basically, you're taking something invisible and alchemical and not physically here in this realm, and you're channeling that energy to create something physical, which is what we're going to be doing today with this art. And I think art is a really great way to start that process, and then you can later apply those same techniques to the whole rest of your life. Yeah. So we're officially in phase 2 of the workshop. We're gonna go over like the supplies. So if you picked up an art kit, it came with canvas, a couple paintbrushes, and some primary colors. You'll also need some water to dip your paintbrushes in. And there's also a palette in there for you to mix your paints. I would also recommend getting like some paper towels or like a towel or something that you don't mind getting paint on to wipe off your brushes when you need it. So I don't remember which, do you remember which colors are in the kit? Okay, awesome. So you guys have a lot of colors. Yellow, red, blue, white, and black. Okay, cool. So you have those colors to work with, but you can always mix additional colors if you wanted to, just have some more diversity in your painting. And if you have any questions about mixing those colors, let me know. I have a whole handout that gives you the exact ratios to get the exact colors. Yeah, so today we're gonna start by just like brainstorming some shapes that you would want to paint. Usually I don't sketch out my paintings, I kind of just go for it, but for organization's sake, I'm going to just kind of give a little bit. You have these little papers that give you some shapes and some of like the organic freeform figures that you could use. Also a line handout, which shows you a bunch of different types of lines. So with these two handouts, you can use this as a reference to creating your portal or your piece of work today. How this goes, since it's very like, here, free form and abstract, is usually I just think about what am I feeling at this moment, and I can kind of use that as a guiding factor to choosing which shapes I'm going to use. So for me, I'm feeling like really excited, right? And that makes me think of zigzag lines, like really sharp. I'll show you. These right here, these little sharp staticky lines. And then I would literally just go in and paint it. So let me see. Whatever you may be feeling, use that as a guiding force to help you make your first mark on the canvas. I'm just gonna create sharp little lines like this and move it all the way down. This is representative of this current of energy that I'm feeling right now. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of like a staircase. Boom. So that's like the first thing that I'm gonna put down. For you, maybe you're feeling a little bit low energy or tired or sleepy, and that might manifest, or that might manifest as like a wavy type of shape, or even a circle if you're feeling like you have something that's looping in your mind back and forth. You could think about that and kind of use that in this work. Wherever feels natural to you. It's really about just surrendering to your own intuition and your own higher self and letting them do the work for you, letting them make the decisions, and you are just being open and receptive to that energy. All the while, that thought that's been replaying in your head is slowly starting to simmer down as you're painting. It's being released, and you're creating space for something else. Say, for example, you might be feeling a little bit lost right now in your life. You don't know which direction that you want to go in, and the things that you had planned previously aren't working out as you thought they would. This moment in time is a perfect opportunity for you to create something completely new. And for that, I like to think of triangles. Triangles have a wide base, and they really remind me of building my own foundation. First, I start with this one line, and this could go anywhere. You feel me? But then I make a sharp angle, and maybe that angle is based out of some type of fear I have of letting go and maybe being a little bit afraid of the changes that are coming. And that angle could be reflected on the opposite end of the spectrum as excitement, anticipation for the new me that's being rebirthed, or the new you that's coming into fruition now in these times. Triangles represent perseverance, achievement, balance. And there's 3 lines. One for mind, one for the body, and one for the soul. As you're thinking about all of the changes that are happening now, and all of the shifts, and all of the structures that are crumbling, allow yourself to hold space for those things to come out through your hands, through the paint, through this canvas. And you can be very intentional with this too. If a certain shape has always made you feel some type of way, you can use that to create that more of that feeling into your life, to welcome more of that. For example, rounded shapes for me have always felt very free and happy and youthful. And so maybe I want to add more of that into my staticky, angular, sharp mentality that I'm having right now. Let me be a little bit more free and allowing of myself to experience whatever it is the universe wants me to experience. And I'm going to create space for that by adding these angles, or not these angles, sorry, these circles, these semicircles. Usually when I start my paintings, I like to use black because it reminds me of a coloring book in a way. I'm creating a foundation for myself to work out of, and then later on in the process, I can add whatever colors I want that truly speak to my intuition. How's it going for everyone so far? Good? Awesome. As you guys are painting, I'm going to share with you some of the meanings of the different shapes. Basic geometrical shapes have a psychological association with them. our human brains tend to default interpreting certain forms as certain emotions. And so I feel like this type of painting is a really cool way to explore that. Like I was saying, triangles represent perseverance, achievement. You can think of it as a mountain. Your own personal journey is like climbing that mountain. And once you get to the top, you're standing above everything else and looking back like, wow, I did that. And that is possible by building that foundation first and then adding more structure and lines to the rest of it. Triangles also represent balance and stability. And when you're using them in your art, it kind of points the, I don't want to say audience, but I guess audience, to a specific point of focus. Like the top of this triangle could lead to something here. You can really guide your viewers to whatever you want to stand out. Waves, for me personally, remind me of the ocean. And that reminds me of stillness, of groundedness, but also of surrender to the natural flow of life. The ocean can be very scary, can be very chaotic, very intense. But we all have the ability to float on our backs. We just breathe and let go. So if you ever find yourself stranded in the middle of the ocean, think of this workshop. And remember to just breathe and let go. And maybe the ocean will take you back to shore. Okay, so squares. I'm gonna shift this. Squares are a very masculine energy. They've got 4 perfectly straight edges that all conjoin, intersect, or whatever it's called. I haven't taken a math class in a while. At a 90-degree angle. Boom. Now, these can be used for framing a specific subject or organizing things, but psychologically and emotionally, they represent, in a way, isolation. Say you have all these squares on your canvas, right? Now you have the ability to put whatever colors into each square, and that color is going to stand out from the whole rest of the piece because it's in this box. You've put this feeling and this color in this box, and it can't go anywhere else. Squares can be rigid, but they can also be very dependable because you know, hey, I put this emotion in this box and it's not going anywhere else. Sometimes that can be useful, but also sometimes can mess you up. Because if you hold something in this square too long, there won't be any more space for it to be free with the rest of the shapes and the rest of the lines. So when I'm painting squares, I like to kind of make some space for them to not be so rigid. So whatever emotion that I'm putting into this square, it has freedom as well. It can move, it can flow, while still being organized and structured. You could also think of these hard angles in the squares as representative of strength, dependability, reliability, the giving aspects of life, the organized aspects of life. We all operate out of time. That is a constant. And then circles, they represent the cycles of life. As I was saying, they represent a youthful, carefree energy. They're also really good for maintaining your focus towards something specifically. Say I have this one number, currently 7 is speaking to me. If I were to continue on painting this, this would look like, this number 7 would probably blend in as one of these little angular, like stepwise things I've done here. But I really want the 7 to stand out, right? So I'm gonna just put a circle around it. That's not a circle, but a circular shape around it. Now, whoever views this piece of art will instantly notice, oh my goodness, there's a number 7 in a circle. This is your focal point. You can think of it as like a camera. If there's something specific that you want to see in your reality, that you want to manifest, try either painting it as the object or painting something symbolic of it, and then putting a circle around it. The circles complement the natural flow of life and also help you to see the bigger picture. The same concept is with curved lines. Not so much waves because they're a little bit different. By curved, I mean like this. Here's the circle and here's the point of this. I'm gonna make a line that curves a little bit inward. Connect the two. Or outward, that's outward. Or like this. Curves are very calm and relaxed, smooth and flowy. You might think about where in life you naturally feel calm and relaxed and smooth and flowy, like sipping into, I don't know, taking a sip of some warm chai tea or getting into a bath at the end of the day. Just smooth and subtle energy that's going to a specific destination, one point to another, but there's a little bit of a curve because straight lines don't always work out. Curves also represent sensuality and style. Think about the human body. We are very curved creatures. Curves for me add a touch of nature to my very geometrical. Wow, this looks like a very abstract puzzle right now. And then there's spirals. Spirals represent mystery, a little bit of vertigo and dizziness, intrigue, perfection. You can think about like a shell, the way that it naturally spirals inward or outward. Or what else is spiraled? If you were looking down a really long, grand staircase that kind of just loops around and around and around with one specific point in the center, which would be the bottom floor. Spirals remind me of time. So say I want to give myself more time to complete something or hold space for patience in my life. I would paint a lot of spirals. Really remember that. This is what life looks like from the outside looking in. And then we have lines. Different types of lines can mean different things for you, and provide different energies towards the work that you're creating. For example, life together. Horizontal lines have a very grounded energy. You are balanced and you are still and you are lying flat against the earth. This can add a sense of expansiveness to your painting, also a sense of depth and connectivity to nature. Horizontal line. Whereas vertical lines are reaching upwards, towards the stars, towards the heavens. Boom. They're tall. They kind of remind me of like cell phone towers, how they are just like always constantly receiving information. This is you, the vertical line. You can also choose to be horizontal when needed. And diagonal lines add a sense of off-kilter, off-centeredness. Maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, or maybe you just have no idea what's going on. That could be shown as a diagonal line. You're kind of just looking in both directions, kind of in between horizontal and vertical. I feel like most humans are diagonal because we're a perfect blend of celestial and planetary energies going on while also being connected to the earth, which usually manifests as a vertical line. Boom. So vertical lines, you can create an angle, and then you have half of a square. Everything is all connected, you know what I'm saying? You just have so many options here. So after you guys figure out the shapes that you want to use, and after you kind of have a solid foundation on your canvas, that's when I usually start to integrate colors, which opens a portal, truly, I think. So red, for me, feels, this is not red, this is magenta, but anyway, passionate, feels compacted, like condensed. I feel like this red color holds so much energy, so much vitality, so much vibrance. And in this painting, I want to put that in these squares because I'm trying to organize and direct the flow of passionate, vibrant energy that I have so that I can use it for specific things. So I'm going to put that in these boxes. Use a little teeny tiny. When it comes to color, it's really just about what stands out to you, what excites you, what stimulates your senses, what's speaking to you in this moment. I try not to think too much about the finished product when it comes to adding colors because colors have a way of blending with one another regardless of whether or not they're coordinated. And that is the beauty of abstract art. Now I have all my passion boxed up. What colors are currently standing out to you guys? Even if it's just in your head. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
The color I usually really like is a combination of turquoise and earth colors. It reminds me of the meeting of the sea and the land.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
We've had a few people watching on Facebook Live. I think 3 viewers. We're down to 1 viewer now. And Lisa left a little heart.
Aw. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, with this number 7, 7 is a number of spirit and the divine. And if you look at all of the religious texts and all of the spiritual teachings, they often center around 7 of something. For me, most prevalent has been like the 7 chakras, right? And I don't know, the number 7 just carries a really like spiritual divine energy to me, and that feels purple. Whenever I think about like higher powers or just like transcendence, I kind of think of the amethyst crystal. So I have one on me right now, actually. And this type of purple is what I want to put into this number 7. But we don't have purple, we have primary colors. But it's okay because we can mix and create purple. I'm just gonna add a little bit. Blue and red. I just realized it was messy. I'm just gonna mix it. Probably too much blue. Well, it's kind of purple. Well, it's purple enough. I'm gonna use this and kind of just put it around that circle that I have. Give it a sense of like expansiveness. Currently, I'm thinking of myself as the 7. So I want to add this layer of connectivity to the divine, expanding my horizons, literally changing my aura as I paint. And you might think, if you were to be any one of these shapes, which one would you be? And how would that change the way you interact with the world? How would that change the way you interact with yourself? All things to think about. All you're creating is full. How are things going for everyone so far?
Going good for me.
How has your energy shifted so far from the beginning of this workshop to where you're at right now?
Personally, I'm more relaxed than I was before.
Same. I felt very staticky in the beginning, like these little zigzags, and now I feel more centered and more flowy. So now I'm wanting to do more little swirly, curvy, wavy lines.
Live is that she feels like the purple is making her feel very reflective.
Oh, I love that. Yes. It's beautiful. I want to make this purple lighter. I'm going to add some white. Ah. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, it's almost like lavender. Maybe I'll add a touch more there because it's a little bit too blue still. I'm gonna add another layer of purple to this number 7. Some questions to ask yourself as you're painting. Somebody said this purple makes them feel reflective. What exactly are you reflecting on, and how does that complement? How does this color complement?
Lisa says the act of mixing the colors requires so much intention because of the mixing and the amounts of each color you use.
Yeah, it does, and that's really where you can find power in the surrendering of the to the process. You don't exactly always know, unless you do know, and you're just like one of those genius mathematician folks, um, exactly which shade or which vibrancy of a color you're going to create. If you just put random amounts of paint mixed together. But you can put your intention behind it and you can say, hey, I want to make this color, right? So I'm going to take this color, and it's going to make this color because you know it's going to make that color based off of experience. You can also apply that concept to anything in life. Say you have a broken heart, which is a really heavy example, but say somebody just broke your heart completely. They dissed you, they ghosted you, and you're hurting, right? But you also have a guitar sitting in the corner. You can take that broken heart and that guitar, and you can combine and mix it, and shoot, you'll have a song. There's so much potential in little everyday, mundane, quote unquote, mundane things. And once you realize that everything is low-key just a metaphor, it really opens a lot of doors. And same with painting. So at the beginning of this workshop, I said that I was afraid of not living life for me, of getting caught up in other people's realities and getting too carried away with it and pretty much wasting the potential of my life and not really fulfilling my purpose and my mission in life. That fear looks like this spiral right here to me. When I think about those things, I kind of get into a space where there's just all these thoughts running through my brain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this person's doing this person's doing that, I'm not doing that. And I can get so lost in it. But to embrace that fear and to liberate myself from it, I'm going to add some colors that really make me feel connected to my personal power. For me, that's yellow. Yellow reminds me of, well, yellow is the color of the solar plexus chakra. And the solar plexus chakra deals with personal power, your right to belong, your ego in a way, and your overall sense of personal authority over yourself and your life. Using this yellow color, I'm going to kind of just fill in this space around this spiral. And I'm going to acknowledge within myself that fear that really does change the way that I operate through my life. Personally, sometimes that fear stops me from connecting with people on a really deep level. Sometimes the fear of being swept up in somebody else's reality stops me from connecting beyond the surface level. Because once those energetic connections are made, I can really get invested in them and lose track of myself. But I just remind myself of my personal power and surround myself in this warm yellow glow, surround that fear, embrace it, then suddenly it doesn't control me anymore. And suddenly I have this spiral surrounded by this beautiful yellow color. And it's all part of the bigger picture of the rest of this piece. This is liberating yourself from your fears. Creating rituals and routines and tasks and things that work for you. To not let those fears control you. Oh, I just got deja vu. That's crazy. I usually always go over my paintings again with another layer of black because I fail to color in the lines. And I know that, so I just choose to embrace it by allowing myself to color a little bit outside the lines, and then just knowing that I can always go back over and retrace them with my black. This is accurate to the rest of your life. Say you had a specific intention for doing something, and maybe you got a little bit carried away and forgot to actually apply that. You can always go back and reflect on the experience and do it differently within your own mind. So it doesn't have so much control over you. So it doesn't have that much of a pull over you. Know that even if you don't color inside the lines, even if you get a little bit of your black paint smudged with the yellow, that doesn't make you any less of a brilliant artist. And that doesn't make you any less of a brilliant human. You feeling me?
I agree completely.
Hmm?
I said I agree completely, yes.
Awesome. I believe earlier John said that he has a fear of large objects in the ocean. And these waves right here remind me of the ocean. John, if you're still in here, would you mind sharing what exactly scares you about the ocean, if you know, if you're able to pinpoint it?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm not the top of the food chain in the ocean.
So you're afraid that you're going to get eaten?
Yeah, there's things bigger than me. There's things that we don't know in the ocean. So when you're swimming on the surface, you can't see what's underneath.
So it's the unknown?
Yeah, but it's not just the ocean. It's just any really body of water. It's just large objects in bodies of
Okay. Because they're so much bigger than you, yes?
water. Yeah. And I think it's because I'm sitting basically I'm sitting on the ground, which is the top of the water, and I can't raise myself up any higher. I can't sit on top of the water. I'm underneath the water or just at the level.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a irrational fear.
I don't really think that's irrational. I think it's kind of a metaphor. Say you're like, this is the ocean, right? Right here, these waves. And they're surrounding you, and you're in the middle of the ocean, just chilling on a raft for some reason. And there's all these waves coming at you from all around. And there's also a giant boat, like far away, that you could see, but it's like it's close enough to where you can see that it's a giant big object that could easily crush you, right? But it's also kind of far away. Say that boat is this little semicircle right here. Now, what are you gonna do with this situation? You can't exactly, like you said, raise yourself up out of the ocean or make yourself bigger or anything like that. You can't really control the boat either or the ocean. But what you can do, you can control yourself. You can float on your back and you can surrender to the waves and the energy of the ocean around you. You can kind of switch your mentality to believe that everything's going to turn out just fine somehow, some way. This is very metaphorical. If you could pinpoint a color for that feeling of being isolated and being small and not really having any power, what color would that look like?
I don't know. I don't think of colors as a person. I think of color. I think of color as a tool to create spatial depth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not so much as an emotional expression.
Right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick a color then. I think green represent. Oh, I don't like that shade of green. Green and a little bit of red for the fear aspect of it. Now this green This is nature. This is your surrender. This is earth, and this is the reality of the situation. And the red is your fear, and it's your biological instinct to get yourself out of a situation where you feel powerless, right? Combining the nature and combining the fear, see what we can create from that. Please don't mind my improvised palette. I forgot to bring my own. I'm gonna add more. Ah. So we have this really interesting color. I'm not sure what to call it. It kind of looks like a really, I would say it's some type of dark rose type of shade. I guess. Might look different on the camera. Now we're gonna take this color and we're going to put it in between the waves and make our own waves that are a blend of the frequencies that we are emitting in this ocean. We have our fear and we have also this little bit of surrender and trust in nature. And we're just gonna take it and combine, create more waves. Fill in the blanks. I need to smell it. So while you're making these waves, you can kind of see this ocean before was just these swirly black lines. And this boat over here, it's totally not gonna crush you, now has a new layer to it. And it's mixed with that fear and that surrender of nature and that natural force. You have this whole new picture now. You can choose to embrace.
Irie, I'm taking off. I'm going to be seeing you in like 2 minutes.
Okay, for sure. So the fear isn't gone, and neither is nature. Bigger picture. You've expanded. Kind of like the essence, the premise of energy transmutation. It's not so much pushing those fears away, it's and mixing them with anything else that you have available to you. And using both of those to add your own brilliant canvas that is life. And I remember, Poppy, you were saying that being alone scares you, or the fear of being alone is what kind of stood out to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, not like day to day, but as far as like existentially.
Mm-hmm. And that's really interesting because while I was studying these psychological um, associations with these shapes, squares represent isolation, also organization, but also isolation. And that kind of really reminds me of that fear of, ending up alone or just being alone in general. So with these squares, as you can see, I'm going to actually paint one more square. Okay, this square that I'm painting right now, this is you.
Well, I have been squared.
And if this is one of like your biggest fears, this is it right here, alone, a square, isolated from the rest of the picture. What now?
Well, I would consider my situation and attempt to rectify it by taking action. Can I square?
So this square and this isolation that you're in, those actions that you take would be based out of what, like a continuation of that fear? Because you're already in a situation where you're by yourself.
Yeah, I think I would be afraid of what could happen without any sort of support. So I would take steps to find support, I suppose. Like my fear would drive me to action.
Okay, yeah, beautiful. That's the beauty of our biological responses to fear. They always make us take action and step outside of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
What if you could associate that, the first steps that you would take with a specific color or a specific image, what would that be?
I think red.
Red?
Yeah, because it's an intensity of emotion. And when I think of fear, I do think of red because uh, it's almost like the color of the inside of us. So like
Yes.
everything goes red when you're angry, but it can also be like yeah, I just think of red when I think of fear. And I also have like some social anxiety too. So if I was gonna rectify, say, being completely alone in a town with no family, no friends, I would have to like overcome my social anxiety to just go out and put myself out there and make those new connections. And so I would see that like first step as being red in fear, and then it would kind of change color over time.
Those first steps make me think about arrows. You have 4 directions which you can go with this square. You being a square, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint little red arrows representative of those. Oh, I need a teeny tiny paintbrush. I don't have that. These will be dots because I don't have space for arrows. So now you're stepping outside of, you can't even see the bottom, of yourself, of this fear, of this isolation. You're expanding your horizons and learning to overcome that fear of, having no support. And you can think of these little circles on the top and bottom as your support. Because you said that you would be driven and motivated to take action, right? That is your higher self supporting you in a position which you thought would be, I don't know, kind of fatal in a way. You have these two little red dots stemming from outside of nothing but yourself. You created that. And now you have support. And now you have more directions in which you could go. And you could continue to add more support. Say those steps that you took led you to meet some really inspiring, beautiful people that want to support you. And that means you can add more color to this picture.
Nice.
And this little section of this portal wouldn't be here unless that fear was acknowledged. And you did that.
Oh, it's beautiful. I like how, yes, it's good utilization of metaphor.
Thank you. I try my best. Well, I have a bunch of random shapes on this paper, and I'm going to add more colors. I would love to hear from anybody about how their painting is going and what they have realized through the process. If anyone would be willing to share.
Well, I'm not doing a painting, but I am doing a drawing. I can kind of share it. Fantasy creature thing.
Oh, wow. Well, that's dope.
Thank you.
Tell me about it.
I do some exploration, and I've done kind of a workshop before of like spiritual and metaphorical exploration, and I've done a lot of art in the past that's very similar, and that's kind of my version, I guess, of a portal painting. It's different lines, colors, shapes, creatures, and symbols manifest what I'm feeling.
Yes, amazing. So how has your energy like shifted from the last time we did a little check-in to now?
I think it's like a lot more grounded. I could like find the last time. Oh yeah, the last time I did one, I was really angry. You can see that. So yeah, I'm a lot more calmer and grounded this time.
Beautiful. I'm so glad.
If anyone else wants to share in the chat, go ahead and I'll read it out loud, or you can unmute.
I didn't like this color of green that I had, so I'm creating my own. It's still not green, that's teal. Okay, this triangle represents me building my own foundation, creating a completely new version of reality as I know it. And I'm gonna fill it with this teal blue type of color because it reminds me a lot of a really deep pool of water. Not the ocean though, because it's too calm. Water is really grounding for me, maybe because I'm in Pisces. But water is also very cleansing, and the instant that I connect to it, I can release any negative energy that I may have absorbed from my environment. So I'm going to fill this triangle with this because stepping into this new reality that I created, I want to make sure that I have the grounding and cleansing properties of water with me. wherever I go. Once I am grounded within myself in this triangle of stability and balance, I can expand. I'm going to expand that with a different color. Something that is exciting to me. So I'm going to use yellow and mix it with orange. Whatever that creates, we'll just use. Maybe a little bit of white too.
Lisa said that she popped out to make some tea and now she's back. I'm going to go ahead and kind of summarize what we were just talking about.
Okay.
We were just exploring how to use lines and shapes to sort of metaphorically explore different emotions and fears, and even resolve those emotions and fears in some ways.
Yep. Came up with this really light orange color, and I'm gonna surround my triangle with that. This color feels like you know that brand's Emergency. They have like vitamin supplements, like the fizzy drink thing. This is what that reminds me of, and that is an energy that is full of excitement and zest, so to speak, and new opportunities. And I'm going to surround myself in this little triangle of water with those new opportunities and that excitement.
Lisa says she also finds water to be very grounding.
Yes, absolutely. I find it very safe and secure. Lately, whenever I've been feeling like any type of heavy emotion or just any type of heaviness, I immediately just draw a bath and like get in the water and just sit there and let myself feel through it in a really safe space. And the water cleanses it. It releases that negative energy that I might have stored in my body. It grounds me and opens me to new things. And this orange is representative of those new opportunities that I've made space for by being all grounded in my water. And I like these lines that are coming out of this orange, these horizontal lines. Kind of like another layer of what comes after these opportunities. Am I going to jump at them and forget to ground myself and forget to connect to myself and get too caught up in the excitement of it all? Or am I going to add another layer of security and groundedness through nature? When you lay horizontally, you're connecting to the earth's energy like that. So I'm going to add more of these horizontal lines to remind myself to remain grounded, even though all these exciting opportunities are surrounding me. This takes me back to the roots of the water that is my foundation. I'm actually going to make them.
Lisa says, I feel like water tethers me to the earth almost like glue, which makes sense because I am an air sign and one of the main compounds of water is air. I am a Cancer moon too, so anytime I am submerged in water, my feelings bubble up. Water is very much a portal to my feelings.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So now these lines, these horizontal lines, are moving me to create more triangles. Triangles of balance and structure and change. And these have a foundation in groundedness and connectedness to the earth, the earth's energy. So they're kind of a different type of triangle as opposed to this one that I did here just by itself. This could represent a new version of ego. So really this could go on for hours and hours, just adding shapes and colors and lines and all that. But the point of it is to really harness whatever it is you're feeling in that moment and put it on a canvas and make your own object and image to look back on and kind of help you to analyze what it is you're feeling, what it is you did feel, and use these shapes to even intentionally make a picture of what you want your life to look like or what you want something in your life to transform into. And that, yeah, that really has been like important for me this whole year, is taking all the chaos of the world and making sure that I have something healthy and accessible that I can help myself with, you know what I'm saying? And I hope that you guys were able to find a sense of groundedness and stillness in this moment, and that you're able to apply those concepts that we talked about with the different shapes and with the metaphors into liberating yourself from your fears, and really just thinking about how those things affect you on a daily basis. Yeah, if there's any like questions or any comments anyone wanted to make, let me know. I'm so open to it. I would love to hear about this process for everyone else.
Yeah, and feel free to email the Chai email with any end products if you want to share.
Yes.
We'll share with Irie. And Irie, did you want to do a quick plug if you have an Instagram or somewhere people can find you?
Yeah. Yes, should I type it or I could just...
Yeah, you could type it in the chat.
Okay.
If you want it so everyone can see. And I'll put it on the live chat too.
Okay, so my Instagram is just at IrieWW, IrieWW. And that's pretty much the only social media that I'm active on. So tap into that. You could also feel free to email me any questions. I'll put my email in the chat as well. I will respond to emails. I will not respond to texts.
Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and for participating today. And thank you, Irie, for teaching us. It was wonderful, and we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I think we all had a lot of fun. I sure did.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting and the live. Okay? So have a wonderful day, everybody, and thank you one more time.
Thank you all for coming.
Bye-bye.